Nice. So yeah, my name is Eduardo. I work on Union. I'm the OSS lead, and today I'm gonna talk about this integration that we announced in the latest Flyte release. The one missing piece in the data scenario, DBT. So next slide, please. Yeah. So for those who don't know, like DBT is this essential piece in the modern data stack, and that allows you to essentially add this layer of abstraction over SQL. So you can, for example, if you deal with multiple data warehouses, you can use DBT to connect to these different data warehouses, while you only worry about sequencing the or writing the SQL necessary to like your business, right? Specifically for this integration, we are announcing this integration with DBT Core, which is the CLI that DBT Labs offers. And right now in the Flyte DBT integration, we have support for the two most important commands, the run and test. So run, as the name suggests, it runs the models that you have defined in your DBT project. And test, well, again, as the name suggests, like in DBT, you have this idea of like having tests for your SQL. So more commands are being added, by the community. We have support for a subcommand in source called freshness that was added last week, but we haven't really released it yet. But again, the framework for supporting everything the DBT offers is there. We just started out with these the two most important commands. Can we go to the next slide? Great. I'm going to demo real quick how the integration actually looks like. So I'm going to share my screen now. So let me see. Yes, I want to share desktop one. Great. Zoom. Can everyone see my screen? It should be like a pale background.
It's a little tiny.
Is it tiny? Okay, let me make this a lot bigger. Is it better now?
Yeah, much better. Thanks, Eduardo.
Great. Okay, so essentially the integration revolves around the idea of having DBT of tasks of specific types that show up in console and in the DAG that you build. And as I said before, we have support for two commands in DBT, run and test. So we have these two tasks called DBT run and DBT test. And in this example, really, I'm doing something like super simple. Like I'm just running the DBT run task pointing to a specific project that I defined, and running the test, like a DBT test command. Down here, I'm just sequencing them so that the run runs before the test, and finally I'm returning it. So how does this look when you run a workflow that contains these tasks? So I think I'll have to also increase the font of this guy. I don't know if it allows me though. Yeah, sorry. I'll just run this and walk through how it looks like in the console. Let me know if you can see my screen still. It should show the console now.
Yeah, it's also super tiny.
Great. Let me also increase the.
Awesome.
Better now?
Oh yeah.
Amazing. So I just schedule an execution of that workflow just to show that I'm not lying. Here's the graph, how it looks like. Those two tasks that we defined, the example run task and example test task. Notice the little string here that says, hey, this is a task of type DBT run. Similarly, you have a task called DBT test. And as we all know and love, you get access to the outputs of each task, just like any other regular, task. And yeah, as I said, this is like a very bare bones example, but one could think that, one of the utilities of DBT is to, for example, run these on a schedule. So you can rely on Flyte to help you. Let me actually close this. You can actually leverage, some Flyte constructs to help you schedule DBT runs or tasks or any other commands that eventually will be supported. So let me also increase the font on this. So look at the bottom here. I'm creating a launch plan, calling it my DBT schedule launch plan that runs on a fixed rate, runs once every 42 minutes. And again, bare bones is like the building blocks. You can think of it as like you have access now to a subset of the DBT commands exposed in the CLI, and you can compose your projects and now use DBT to increase the potential for transformations in your project. Can we go back to the slide, please? I don't know if I have to stop sharing or you. Sorry, Zoom is really weird. Great, thank you. Yeah, can we go to the next slide? So real quick, how to install this. It's a Flyte plugin. So you should be able to just do pip install Flyte plugins-dbt. Don't forget to install the necessary adapter. DBT ships with a bunch of adapters. In this particular example here, we use Postgres, but they have adapter for SQLite, DuckDB. There's like a gazillion connectors, including more exotic ones, like you can connect to Snowflake, BigQuery. Let's go to the final slide. You notice that we haven't really talked about the managed solution that DBT Labs supports, the DBT Cloud. We plan to support DBT Cloud in the future. It won't come in this next release, but it's something that we're shooting for Q1 of next year. Again, we only have support for 2 commands announced. Support for the source freshness command was added in this PR, and contributions are welcome, like adding if you're missing one of the commands and you really want to use it in Flyte, like it should be very simple. We already have like examples of 3 commands. Adding another command should be trivial, really.
That's awesome. So Eduardo, is there any specific feedback you're looking forward to get from the community, or on the other commands that you want to implement, or you hope for contributions? Is there any priority that you say, hey, we would like to have this one first and that one second? Is there anything that you would prefer?
That's a great question, and I'm looking for feedback on one piece. Like if you see, like one request that we had from the community is that DBT produces a lot of logs, and we are not exposing them in a very ergonomic way yet. We only log in case things go wrong, but like if you want to have access to whatever happened for all executions, we should talk. There are a few options, and in terms of prioritization, I would love to have DBT docs as a deck, so that you can get access to the auto-generated documentation that DBT provides to you as a Flyte deck. I think it would be a great first contribution, super low-hanging fruit, and it would add a lot of value to the DBT integration.
Awesome. Hey, Eduardo, fantastic work. Love it. And let's make sure that community can find you, reach out to you. I assume Slack channel is the medium of choice for getting a hold of you.
Yeah, I would say so. But don't if you want to message me on Twitter, or I don't know, even my personal email, like, it's fine.
Awesome.
I'm always game.